Hey everybody, welcome back to Taking Trades. So today we've got the natural gas storage report. We got to dive into that today. We're also going to dive into a topic that I've received a lot of emails about and a lot of comments in the comment section about, and that is, what is a reverse split? When is UGAZ going to go through a reverse split? And how does it affect my share size and share price? I'm going to break down and answer each one of those questions. We're also going to look at the price action today because we're having a green day. For once in a while, we're having a green day. So we're going to dive into price action. We're going to touch just a tiny bit on the weather, but mainly we're going to focus on that reverse split topic. So let's go. Okay, we've got so much to get to. Let's get at it. We've got the weekly natural gas storage report right here. Came out 1 hour after the market opened today, and look what we've got. Net change right here. We got negative, 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 negative all the way across the board for a minus 73. So withdrawal of 73 billion cubic feet when you compare with last week. So that's a bullish report. I like to talk about this summary every now and then. Just because it provides some nice information. Just says that the working gas in storage was 3,518 BCF as of Friday, December 6th, and this represents a net decrease of 73 billion cubic feet from the previous week. Stocks were 593 billion cubic feet higher than last year, which is bearish, and at this time, 14 billion cubic feet below the 5-year average of 3,532 billion cubic feet. So that's bullish. We're lower than the 5-year average, but we're higher than year over year. So it's a little bit of a mixed feeling, and we'll see how that's playing out in the price action today. But I'm going to post this link in the description so that you guys have access to the storage report so you can look through the numbers, and you can also come over here to the natural gas weekly update. And you can go through this as well because there's a lot of great information here. And one thing I like to remind people about is I like to look at the rigs table. It's interesting to see the number of gas rigs, how many are online, how many are offline, and what the overall percentage is for the decrease or increase. So feel free to check that out as well. So with that, let's jump into the price action. Now I hope you're sitting down for this because /NG is showing a big green candle. And I know that's going to shock everybody, so brace yourselves. We had a bounce and looked like we might have been looking at a possible rejection off the bottom of this channel, which was running right in here. But instead, we got a big breakthrough, and look what's happening. We're going right, almost right to the top of the gap. So the other day when I mentioned that if we got a big pop, you had to be careful and take profits at the top of the channel, look what happened. It went right to the top of the channel and then got rejected. So I hope anybody who was able to took profits right around that 2.35 level. The actual high was 2.348. So I hope you took profits right at the top of this channel because this is our gap. This is our vacuum sucking price action to the top of the gap. It happened just like we thought it would, and now it's getting rejected. So we need to watch this closely for a return down and a bounce to move higher. But in order to hold through this, we got to get a break, a pullback, and then a move higher. So this is super exciting, and I want to jump into the intraday charts and see what's going on in the 5-minute time frame to see. So at 8:30, we got the report, which was right here. Oh, that's interesting. We got the report and got a big, massive sell-off, and then it rebounded at 10 after 9. And has been going skyward ever since. That's really interesting. Let me go to the 1-minute chart. And let's just see at 8:30 on the 1-minute chart. Yeah, that first candle came out and was a massive drop. Looked like it was recovering and then sold off all the way down to 2.259 before correcting itself and moving higher. So the minus 73 billion cubic feet withdrawal must have been short of expectations as a consensus in order for it to head lower like that. So that is really wild. So Comment below and let me know if you jumped out of your trade or if you bailed on everything altogether when it dropped so low, or did you hold or add to your position and now you're sitting pretty into this pop. Comment below real quick and let me know how you played this morning. I'm going to look at UGAZ so we can look at the exact prices of what you were trading today. So we come in here, so our top of our gap, yeah, it's kind of the same here. As you can see, the top of that gap, I know this is kind of a strange, let's see if I can make it look better. The price action is so weird on UGAZ that it makes the chart hard to read. So there's the top of that gap, and it got up and touched the top, and now it's getting rejected. So just like on the /NG chart, this too crossed the channel, bumped against the top of it, and then pulled back. So I hope you took profits. Like I said on the other chart, the equivalent is about 9.25. The high today, actually 917 was the high on UGAZ this morning. So hopefully you took some profits there. It looks like it's kind of holding at 895 right now. I don't know if it's looking for a late afternoon push to close and to actually completely fill and hold this gap. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But let's look over at DGAZ. Yeah, DGAZ, big sell-off. So hope nobody was holding this one today, as it went to a low of 153.15 and actually had a high of 173. So a $20 spread on, or difference in price on DGAZ. So that could have got a little dangerous. Back over to /NG. I think this is breathing a little bit of life into everyone's trades today, just because there has been some reports of cooler weather. So having this pop and having this gap fill is a positive thing. Maybe this can establish a new support level, so if we do pull back, at least we hopefully won't go back below the lows. Maybe we'll bump and go higher. So we'll keep a very, very close eye on this as we move forward.
Well, what do you say we dive into talking about reverse splits now? Let's talk about what they mean. I'm going to show you an Investopedia article. I'm also going to link that in the description, and then we're going to get into an example where I'm going to kind of draw up a scenario. And if you're new to the channel, consider checking the channel out for a week. Hit that subscribe button. And if you're enjoying the content, hit the like button. It really helps the channel, and I really appreciate it. All right, let's jump into the example.
Board up here, and I just want to break down a scenario for you and talk about a couple of things. And we're going to look at this article on Investopedia also before we get started. I just wanted to let you know that when you hear people talk about reverse stock splits, they have a few different names for them, and they can occur in different ratios. So you'll see down here, they can be called a 1-for-5, a 1-for-10. They can also be a 1-for-25 split. All these are names for how they're going to consolidate the shares. A reverse stock split is also known as a stock consolidation, a stock merge, or a share rollback. So if you hear any of these terms, you'll know exactly what they're talking about. This article is going to be linked in the description, and right now we're going to flip back to the whiteboard and create our scenario. So let's say you own 100 shares of a company, and we're just going to call that company XYZ, okay? And XYZ you bought for, let's say, $10 per share. So right now, the value of your investment is $1,000. Okay, so we've got 100 shares of XYZ, $10 a share, valued at $1,000. Now let's say, for example, they announce that they're going to go through a 1-for-10 reverse split. You could also see it in text or in an article as 1:10. That's just ratio talk. That's just 1-for-10 reverse split. What this means is they're going to consolidate your 100 shares down by 10. So the way you can calculate this is you can say, from my 100 shares, if I divide that by 10, because it's a 1-for-10, that means for every 10 shares, they're going to consolidate that down to 1. So that means that at the end of a 1-for-10 reverse split, you're going to be left with 100 divided by 10, which is 10 shares. So you're going to be left with 10 shares when it's all done. And can anyone tell me what the value of the shares is going to be? Any guesses? If it's $10 per share and your shares just got reduced, that means that the value per share is going to go up by 10 because there's 10 times fewer. So that means you're going to have a $100 per share price now. So in this scenario, you get kind of a flip-flop, and it works out for an exact flip-flop. $10 per share, 100 shares. Now you're going to have 10 shares, but they're worth $100 each. So what you can see now is that the value of your investment above is $1,000, and the value of your investment after the split is still $1,000. I had someone comment the other day and say, I'm scared for the reverse split. What is this going to mean? You know, should I sell? But really, nothing happens. You'll just have fewer shares, but each share is going to go up 10 times in value. Now, if you'd like, we can also just quickly talk about what a 1-for-5 reverse split is. So we could do this really quickly, right? So we could take our 100 shares, and if we divide that by the ratio of 1 to 5, we divide it by the 5, then that's going to give us what? 20 shares. So we're going to have 20 shares now, but now the value is not going up by 10, it's just going up by 5. So now you have your shares, you're going to have your $10 per share previous, and that $10 multiplied by 5 times is going to leave you with $50 price per share, okay? And so when you look at the value of this investment, the value of the shares is now going to be equal what? Well, $1,000. So in all these scenarios, whether it's a 1-for-10 reverse split or it's a 1-for-5 reverse split, either way, and this is interchangeable, remember, we can say 1-for-5 reverse split or 1:5. Regardless, you're just going to have fewer shares that are worth more value per share, but the overall value of the whole account stays exactly the same. Now, don't let this confuse you with decay of leveraged ETF. So UGAZ is a 3 times leveraged ETF. And some people will say, well, a reverse split is not good and it will change the value because if you keep holding it, then the value is going to continue to drop and you could be left with even less. Well, that's true, but that's if you continue to hold it. I'm just talking about specifically when going through the reverse split, the minute the split's done, have you lost any money? And the answer is no. You've had reduced shares, but each share is now worth more. The account value stays the same. Okay, I told you that we would talk a little bit about how many splits UGAZ has been through and when these occurred, and then we were going to talk about whether or not UGAZ is about to go through a split. So we'll kind of dive into this. There's this website called splithistory.com, which is kind of funny that that's a thing, but UGAZ is listed in here. You can see under this tab, and UGAZ split history table off to the side just says that on September 10th of 2015, they went through a 1-for-5 split, reverse split. And then in March 14th of 2016, the very next year, they went through a 1-for-25. Then December 20th of 2017, they went through their most recent split, and that was a 1-for-10. So we covered the 1-for-5 and the 1-for-10 in our example, but we did not cover the 1-for-25, and it's handled just the same way. If they went through a 1-for-25, your 100 shares from our other example would now be 4 shares. So it's just valued at $25 per share. So it's just the same thing. You do the same division. It's just a different number. So this is the split history. I'll link this one below as well in the description so you can check this out. As for UGAZ and upcoming splits, I've been doing a ton of searching to try to find any hint at when this might happen, and I actually have no idea. I've had some people speculate and comment and say, based on history, when UGAZ gets to a certain price level, it tends to split, have a reverse split or consolidation. I don't know if that's true. I wasn't trading UGAZ back in 2017, so I didn't go through that split. I don't have experience with that. We can look at the chart history and kind of compare and see what the price levels are, but as far as a specific, correct, and accurate answer, I don't feel comfortable giving you one because I don't know exactly for sure. I don't want to just speculate and give you some random information. So I don't know when the next split is coming, but I feel like it's going to be relatively soon because of the low price and because we keep dropping and the weather's been funny and it's just sort of a stagnant product right now. We're not getting a lot of movement. So I do think it's going to be coming sometime soon. I don't know if that means, you know, the first half of next year or by the end of 2020. I don't know. If you guys have any information on that, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know exactly when that's going to happen. And if you do know and you have a link to an article or a resource, post that too, because I'd love to go look at that for myself, and then I can upload an episode based around that topic. So that is your split history at splithistory.com.
Hey, if you're looking for a really good trading platform to use, consider Tastyworks. There's a link in the description that you can use to access this platform, and if you use that link, it gives me a referral credit and it really helps the channel. So I hope everybody had a really great trading day today. I hope you were green, and I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. Cheers.